So today we're going to do something a little bit different, and I'm calling this Creating Integration, a conversation about comfort zones and physical well-being. And I get to be my own guest today. This is a topic that's been with me, I don't know, maybe for decades. And I just decided, you know what, it's time to face it head on and see where we go. So over the past 6 months, I've gained like 5 to 7 pounds. And, it's like some days you get on the scale and it's up a little bit and then it's down a little bit. So in that range. But for 6 months, it's been up. And it's not a dramatic change, but it's enough to notice. And, when you bend over, you feel your belly and clothes are a little tighter and all that goes with it. And then about a month ago, I slipped in the ice and fell and got a concussion. So between the weight and my head just not working quite right, it got me thinking about this fascinating disconnect in my life. And it's like I can push myself relentlessly in my professional life, constantly challenging my comfort zone, taking risks and growing daily. But when it comes to my physical health, I let my boundaries slip. And so it's like, what's up with that? I don't know about you, but we all kind of have areas, even though they're a push, they're easier than other areas. So I know people who, are radical about their fitness, about their exercise and their workouts, but then other areas of their life are a mess. So anyways, I just wanted to explore this fragmentation and see what it might tell us about the different ways we approach comfort and discomfort in our lives. And more importantly, I wanted to kind of share my journey or what I'm learning about how to create an integrated way of being. We hear so much about creating balance. You need to be balanced. And it's like, I don't want to be balanced. I want to be integrated. I don't want to have little capsules at this stage of my life. And I understand that there's times where you want to scream and yell, or you want to cry, or you want to do something and it's not appropriate. So you kind of have to compartmentalize it. And I'm not talking about those, but I'm just talking about our general way of being. I've been reflecting on how differently I treat the professional discomfort versus physical discomfort. When a work challenge comes in, and they do all the time, I lean in. I strategize, I problem solve, I put in the extra hours, and I will do it even when my body's screaming at me that you've been sitting at your computer or your desk enough. It's like it's time to be done. But it's still, there's a comfortableness about it for me. Doing the work is comfortable even though my body's screaming at me. But with my physical well-being, I found myself making concessions, that extra glass of wine on business trips or just in general, because it's Tuesday. Airport food instead of planning ahead, my morning routine, skipping it my Pilates class when the schedule gets too tight. These small choices, when looked at individually, don't seem like a big deal, but when they compound, I'm calling it my comfort zone creep, where our baseline for what feels acceptable gradually shifts and you gain 6 pounds. It just doesn't happen overnight. It's just small and kind of insidious. And the question isn't simply, why am I disciplined in one area and not another? It's about the artificial separation that I've created between my personal and my physical self. And this fragmentation comes at a cost. We don't live in these neat compartments, although we create them for ourselves. What I'm working now on is integration. So bringing the same intentionality, strategy, and growth mindset I apply to my professional life into my physical well-being and vice versa. Not, again, as balancing, but as interconnected aspects. So let's talk about what happens when our body is under prolonged periods of stress. And we've all been experiencing a lot of stress with the state of the world lately. Everybody's got their points of what's really distressing them. And when we're constantly processing difficult news, feeling anxious about things outside our control, our bodies release cortisol. And this stress hormone affects everything from our sleep quality to our food cravings, and it literally changes how our bodies process nutrients and store fat. So while I've maintained, well, kind of, the past 3 months have been hit and miss on Pilates and walks and Qigong. I've realized that movement alone isn't enough when it's counterbalanced by stress eating and drinking. So, on a side note, I do want to say that I started doing Qigong just because, as a daily practice, one of my colleagues, Jill Fisher, has it on Zoom. She's out of Vancouver, BC, and at 12 o'clock noon, I can just log onto Zoom and I can do a half an hour of movement that's really lovely. It really is. It's so energizing, and I feel so good after I do it that I really want to be there. And it's easy. I said, and I can just do it from wherever I am. Two fascinating things out of that is like my body's getting stronger just with these simple movements, and also my lymph system has definitely improved. And not that I knew that I had issues with it, but when I have my massage therapist is telling me that my lymph system is much cleaner and smoother, and where I used to have some swellings and kind of bumpiness, I don't anymore. So that's from the Qigong. So anyways, just note to self. But when our body's got all this extra cortisol going on, which is just a natural reaction to stress, we're creating a physiological environment that makes weight gain almost inevitable. So the big question is how do we build physical resilience that matches our mental resilience? This is what I believe is the core insight. When the world feels chaotic, one of the most powerful things that we can do is create intentional integration and boundaries in our physical life. And so I'm not talking about extreme measures where we're punishing ourselves or we're just like, really being who we're not. I'm talking about consciously choosing moments of productive discomfort. Saying no to the mindless snack, choosing water or a fun low-cal mocktail instead of wine. Just making small choices that actually are radical acts of self-determination. So it's kind of like to yourself, you're saying, even when I can't control what's happening in the Middle East or climate changes or politics, I can control this moment, this choice, this relationship with my body. As someone who frequently travels, I had to get realistic about the unique challenges this lifestyle presents, because what I realized is in my head, travel, whether it's for business, for pleasure, for what, equals vacation. And so it's like all rules about eating, exercise, and just kind of self-control are off. So I could eat or drink what I want, whatever I want, whenever, however I want. And so often, you're at the whim of other people, the airline schedule, the travel schedule, whatever, or you're sitting a lot. I find myself sitting a lot when I travel. And so I've had to change my mindset and say, just because I'm not in my home doesn't mean, all bets are off on what I eat and drink. I've kind of been developing my traveler toolkit. And one of those is like identifying specific stress triggers while traveling and then having an alternative. Packing snacks on my carry-on that are gluten-free and fit within my overall nutrition plans. And then the other thing is building recovery time after trips, because often they involve different time zones. And so that's really easy to get your body whacked out from a sleeping standpoint. And then I find, for me, everything is, let's eat. Tired, let's eat. Thirsty, let's eat. So anyways, so those are kind of like really paying attention to what's going on and then planning some sort of better choice. What I've also found is that I found a way to move forward that's shifting my energy, and this completely around diet, if you will, weight gain. And it's a breakthrough. I realized two key things. I personally need external accountability. Despite being highly self-motivated in my professional life, I've learned that with physical goals, I need someone measuring my progress who isn't me. So I partnered with my functional nutritionist who will track my metrics, and she's holding me accountable in ways I simply can't do myself. And this external structure, it has been and it will, even on a anteed up level, be game-changing for me. And the second thing is I've reframed this entire journey as an adventure. I'm training for This is not a diet, not a restriction, but a positive change. And when I think of myself as training for something, it completely shifts the energy from deprivation to preparation. I'm not giving things up, I'm building towards something. And so, as an example, all right, 50th class reunion is coming up August 27th. And while my family, my friends, my kids could care less what my weight is, I don't care what any of theirs is. I just want people to be happy and healthy. I've decided that I'm done having this conversation with myself about my weight. It's just, I've had it for, well, probably my whole life, many years, and I just don't want to have it anymore. So I met with my kids and my nutritionist, and I said, all right, we've got 6 months. We're going to set a goal to lose 25 pounds, not lose muscle, and build strength. And here's a funny little story, though. I remember when my grandma, who I adored, was my age, and Weight Watchers just came out. And she joined Weight Watchers, and she was so proud of herself. She probably lost 20 pounds I remember measuring on the little scale cottage cheese with her and all of that stuff. And she lost the weight. And we were so mad because we loved our grandma looking like our grandma. And when she was skinnier, which she was so happy and delighted with herself about, we were like, well, where's our grandma? This is just not okay. And I feel bad. I laugh about it today, but I kind of feel bad because we weren't very supportive as children. The point is, I'm not doing this alone. I've intentionally identified people in my support community, my kids, close friends, as I said, and my nutritionist, who I can reach out to when I need help, when my motivation is not so good. And I've been specific about what kind of support I need from each person, whether it's a check-in text, a walking buddy, or technical guidance. And again, the training, the idea that I'm training for something feels completely different than just on a diet to reach a goal. And the other thing I've learned, our body, our nervous system, and our thought process is attuned to stepping into it. So it's good for us to do these things. It just helps us. So one of my colleagues and people in my support team, Dr. Adam Rushford with Hands on Health, I remember him saying how important it is for us to challenge ourselves, do a detox or a physical fitness challenge of some sorts, because it trains our bodies to be ready when we have a deeper challenge. I thought about that a lot, and I realized, really since COVID, I've gotten into this, well, I don't want to say rut, but actually maybe it is just this rut, this way of being physically. So even though I've added, Pilates and Qigong and my walking and all of that stuff, it's still, my eating has been, and I am a pretty clean eater. I just eat too much. So it's just time to give it some attention and make some different choices. So, and that as I do want to say, Hands on Health is an amazing resource to have in your healthcare hip pocket. You never know, if you're going to fall on the ice and need some adjustment, or you just need a tune-up for our alignment. And I think we talked about our bodies have 360 joints in them, and I want to say about 300 of them are in our spine. And so how we move our spine informs how we feel. Check out Hands on Health. We're so grateful to have them as part of our partnership. So anyways, what I'm discovering is when we can create a compelling story about what it is we're doing, around our goals with characters like our support team, with a plot, my training journey, obstacles to overcome, and a climatic moment, the reunion, we tap into something that's so much more powerful than willpower. We tap into meaning. I hope this gives a little motivation and insight into taking this personal challenge with comfort and discomfort, playing with that, using the tools around us. And it's something we can consciously reshape through integration rather than constant balancing or having that conversation with oh, you'll never do this, so why even say that you will? I'm really excited about it, to be honest with you. I'm excited about what's possible. It's getting me out of my comfort rut, if you will, around my physical self. And at the end of the day, again, with the concussion, I really, really was reminded that our health and well-being is key. When we're not feeling well, nothing looks good. And so it's important. This, I love to read, and this book, Wealth Money Can't Buy by Raman Sharma, is one of my new favorite books. And he's written a number of things and been around a long time. So find those things that really light you up, if you will, and that support you, and know that here at Good Fat Life, we want to hear from you. We can be your support team, your rally team. And, if we look at the magazine, we have lots of good hints and tricks and support workshops, and there's so many wonderful things that people are doing in the community. So anyways, that's all. I just want to remind us, in a world that feels like so much is out of our control, that the most radical act for us is to create an integrated way of being, where our choices in one area naturally can strengthen those choices in another area. Not from a place of restriction, but from a place of deep integrity and wholeness to ourselves. Again, please, we'd love to hear from you. I hope you find some things that can maybe put you in training for your own journeys and how to kind of manage the world that we live in. On that, go out and live your Good Fat Life.